better?
Hey, how are you?
Hey there.
No, not you. Not you yet.
Hey.
Hey, everybody out there. This is SoulMama, aka Carolyn Schwartz Black, Carolyn Black, however you happen to know me out here in Madison and in the rest of the world. This is the debut show of SoulMama Says. Like you just heard Mitch say, I'm a New York liberal atheist Jew living in the Midwest trying to make some sense of the world. My mom always said, you learn something new every day. Maybe today you'll learn it from me. This is my good friend Todd.
Hi.
Say hi, Todd.
How are you?
Good.
Thanks for having me aboard here, Ted.
Yeah, absolutely. Todd's been on the radio for a long time.
Actually, it's been 10 years. Coming up in a couple of months will be my 10-year mark of not being in
Not
radio.
being on the radio.
This is this is the first in about 10 years.
Well, thank you for letting me pop your cherry. Or
Again.
repopping it,
Yeah.
so to speak. And joining us, before we get into who I am and all that stuff, we have got a special guest today, Mr. Joey B. Banks. Say hello to the people, Joey.
Hello, world.
Hello. Joey is here today, looking fine in his Bucks cap there, to talk about the Clyde Stubblefield All-Star Band, the Clyde Stubblefield Scholarship Fund, and the CD release party that we are going to have this weekend, this Friday, January 20th. That's the reason January 20th should be important to you, not for that other reason.
Oh, that other reason.
That other reason that everybody seems to be up in our... No, we don't care about that. No, there's a Clyde Stubblefield All-Star show at the High Noon Saloon in Madison, Wisconsin, this Friday at 9 o'clock, correct?
That's correct. And there'll be another band opening, a band called Steez, and Dr. Funkenstein,
Ooh.
DJ. But this all started about a year ago, 2015 actually,
Yeah.
in August of, and came up with this idea to put together everybody that's ever played with Clyde Stubblefield in
That's a lot of people.
a 40-year span on Funky Mondays and various bands, in the local area and beyond, and we did a series of concerts for the recognition of Clyde Stubblefield, and we also formed the Scholarship Fund in his name during that time as well. So this CD is a recording of one of those shows at the Barrymore Theater, September 11th, by the way, 2015. And out of 32 songs, I produced 14, kind of melted it down, and a lot of listening and a lot of hours of trying to figure out, what the best songs would be, and it turned out to be a pretty nice disc, featuring Carolyn Black.
I'm very proud to be on this record, absolutely.
A few of the tunes, and I'm pretty happy with it, and hopefully it will support the Scholarship Fund. So we do the Funky Mondays, we'll sell these discs, and the CD release party, again, is this Friday at the High Noon Saloon. And
How much are tickets?
Tickets are $8 in advance and $12 day of show.
Okay, and how much are the CDs?
CDs the night of the show are going to be $10, and then after that it's going to go up to $15.
Okay.
And then in a couple of weeks we're going to actually release a DVD of the same concert.
Awesome.
I'm excited about that.
So
that was a fun show.
We're not really going to do a big release for that. We're just going to kind of add it to the merch pile, and
A sleeper release.
it's a sleeper release. Yeah.
Word
so
of mouth. It's going to go viral.
we might likely release it on February 27th at our
The
Fat
next
Tuesday,
one?
Fat
Okay.
Tuesday happy hour, February 27th at the High Noon. So, but not anything really official for the DVD.
And remind me and the folks, what time does the Clyde Stubblefield All-Stars start? What time do we start on Friday night?
We start at 9. We go on a little early for a Friday, but Clyde's getting older. And
Okay, so we open. So Clyde opens,
So,
and then
yeah,
the
we're
other
actually-
guys. Okay, so it's backwards from the normal
Well,
headliner situation.
It's
but
kind of two parties, and there
Yeah.
are two parties going on. There's our CD release party that kind of just got added on.
Yep.
We had this date set for the inauguration day to be a funk Trump party, and
we can still funk him. We can still do that
because we were all assuming that he
Yes.
would not be the president.
Yes, so we all know what happens when we assume, don't we?
Yeah,
I'm still sleeping, by the way.
I think so. I'm waiting for Ashton Kutcher to come out and punk us. Like, just please come out. Anyway, continue, please.
So that was the original concept of the party, and then the CD was being processed, and it just kind of worked out timing wise that it was going to be done, and then so we split the show up into two separate kind of parties. So we're
Right.
going to do our CD release party first, and then it's now renamed the Funk Winter party because we all hate the cold, and
Yep.
and we like to put N's in replace of C's where we can't say certain words and make it funky.
That's
We make it
right.
funky.
It's funky.
So it's a on it's taking a negative
Absolutely.
and making it positive, right?
Absolutely.
So that's what's happening on Friday. So it'll be cool. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be a great vibe. It's gonna be again a lot of fun music. Clyde Stubblefield All-Stars are gonna be doing a lot of new. So not really new. We're gonna be doing
old Clyde stuff. Yeah.
old JB hits.
I've been working on that
Clyde Stubblefield
that
played on.
rap that Joy Jaglin did on the original. I've been working on that.
So moving towards all original Clyde Stubblefield
Yeah.
tunes that he actually played on and his original albums works, which are vast, and he's on so much material, and the band hasn't really touched on a whole lot of that. Although I just found out that the band did a James Brown tribute, that they did the Jungle Groove with
Really?
the Gomers. And,
Okay.
and wrote charts out and everything, so I got all these horn charts for an additional
Awesome.
tune. So it's coming together really nice as far as the addition of Clyde tunes, and I think it's going to help really recognize Clyde a little bit more. People are going to know what songs he actually played on that made
Yeah.
him famous.
So Clyde is going to be sampling himself.
Basically, yeah, he's going to be playing tunes that he played on, and yeah, it's going to be really kind of interesting and surreal. And I think even for him, he's just kind of like, are we really doing this? Are you guys going to actually learn these songs? So
It's been a
yes.
while, yeah.
Yeah, so we are. He's like, I don't need to practice. I already know them songs. I don't. It's only been
Clyde never
50
needs
years.
to practice. He's like, it's like in his soul,
But we are getting together tomorrow.
Tomorrow night, I know. I've told my husband he needs to be home by 6:30, so I can.
Right.
Do you hear that, honey? You're listening. I know you are. Shout out to my kids who should be listening as well.
But and then I just wanted to say that this is all part of the Coalition for the Recognition of Clyde Stubblefield, which
That's right.
is an actual nonprofit to support Clyde and really pay homage and recognize him for who he is. A pioneer in popular music. I mean, the father of funk, the father of hip hop.
Absolutely.
And he's got his sticks in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. There's a big push to get him in physically in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame right now.
Word has, didn't they just do a hand imprint at the Guitar Walk? Or the Rock Walk outside the Guitar Center in L.A. I just read something about that.
Right.
Jabo.
He's the Walk of Fame, getting the hands.
It's not the official Hollywood star Walk of Fame. It's the Guitar Center started a Rock Walk thing,
Yeah.
and so he put his hands, and I was looking at it, and I thought,
Well, that would make sense.
Yeah.
He's actually performing at the grand finals of the Guitar Center drum off.
The drum off. That's right.
Yeah, so that's probably in collaboration with that event.
So tell me, what does the Clyde Stubblefield Scholarship Fund fund?
It funds kids that want to go on and study music in college. We're hoping to give one kid starting out, one kid an opportunity to have support from the scholarship. So if they go to a 4-year college, we'll give them a certain amount of money. They'll get a certain amount of money each semester. But hopefully they're studying music education to teach, or they're going to be music performers and they're studying performance. But now, just recently, and this is kind of breaking news.
Drum roll, okay.
The coalition has merged with the Mamas, and this is going to become this year will be the Madison Area Music Association Clyde Stubblefield Scholarship.
Awesome.
Oh,
So
that's awesome.
So the Mamas have gotten on the support bandwagon.
That's fantastic.
And, they're going to be supporting us, and there's going to be a presentation of the scholarship award at each Mama Award show, and I'm really happy about what's going on with that.
That's really fantastic. The ironic thing is that Clyde doesn't have any formal music education, does he?
No, he's one of those great self-taught musicians from an era where we had a lot of great self-taught musicians.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the great African American musicians back in the day didn't have college educations, didn't go to Juilliard, didn't go to Berkeley. They just listened to other musicians, and Clyde listened to his first influences was listening to marching
bands. That's right.
Marching drums, and just migrated towards the drum kit.
One of the songs on the original, like he talks about that, right? About listening to the marching bands and hearing the train track. He just heard all the different rhythms around him,
right?
And just put that into his drumming.
Right. And it's audio for him. If you listen to some of his older music, if you listen to the original version of Cold Sweat, there's a video out there, Cold Sweat, with Ride the Pony from like 1968. And if you listen to his drum beat, it sounds like it's really funky, but there's this little part of it that sounds like a railroad, like a train coming out. So he's just kind of embodied his environment, and it kind of created who he is from a drumming standpoint. But it's pretty amazing.
He's amazing. I had my 9-year-old Zeke had for homework last week had to interview someone that he admired, and he said he wanted to interview Clyde because I said first he said, well, Mom, he said I could interview you, and I said, well, maybe we know some local celebrities, right? And he's like, oh, Clyde. And so we went over to his house the other day. And he had to ask him this question, like, have you ever, like, not been successful, and how did that help you? And Clyde was like, no, everything I tried, I did, I didn't have to try, I just did it.
Right.
I just did it.
Right.
And it's amazing. He's the attitude of just, even though he lost his thumb, a couple years ago now, right?
He lost his
thumb. He lost his thumb. And part of his finger. It doesn't stop him from drumming.
When I first met him and I shook his hand, he apologized for his missing thumb.
But it doesn't matter. His funk's in his left hand, right?
He's pretty humble, down to earth guy in that way.
He is.
I respect him highly, and the privilege to be able to sit next to him and play on a pretty regular basis, and then partially be responsible for revitalizing his playing, because he was not playing for a couple years prior to those scholarship series shows.
Yeah.
He was hospitalized for some stuff, and
I know.
then he had the amputations of his fingers that slowed him down a little bit. So
nothing slowing him down now, though.
No, he's out there. He's out there in the national scene, and the Rolling Stone article came out, highlighting the top 100 drummers of all time, and he was at number 6, which was quite an honor. And I always say, out of those 100, how many are still alive? He's still alive, so maybe
alive and kicking,
that
man.
makes him. John Bonham, I think, was number 1 on that list, but he's not here anymore.
He's not here. No, and I'm so honored. I get to sing with him and all you guys every time we play, and it is a true honor to get to play with him. He's probably the most humble and generous musician I've ever had the pleasure to work with, and he has every right to not be, given the way he has been, treated in the past, as far as not getting credit for all those beats.
A lot of people have made a few million.
Yeah, he's
jillions of dollars off of
and
these beats.
Yeah, and he's just hey, I'm just playing, and he feels happy to get to play, and that's what's so wonderful. Even these shows we do at the High Noon, he's like, I'd love y'all. That's Clyde. And I want to thank you, Joey, for doing everything that you do to bring recognition to Clyde, because without what you're doing around here, it just wouldn't be happening.
Right. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you, Carolyn.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for coming down today. And make sure that
You're gonna play some of this.
Oh yeah. We're gonna play some of this, absolutely. And we will be back in how many minutes? We're gonna just keep talking. Okay, we're gonna play some of the CD, the Clyde Stubblefield All-Star Band show from oh God, it's now
September
over a year
11th.
ago, September 11th, 2015.
It's on the front cover.
It's on the front cover. Thank you. It's my first time. Be gentle. All right, we'll see you back in a minute or so, a few minutes, right?
30 seconds.
All right, stick around. Soul Mama still has a whole lot more to say. All right, cool. Thank you. That was the best way to start the show.
Let Joey start it. Yeah.
Let Joey start it.
Hey, I've been in this room many
Yes.
times.
I know. Here, what should we?
And
What
it's
should
way more chill than Mitch. Mitch is some crazy stuff going on.
Oh, yeah.
Can you play some of this or no?
It doesn't work like that.
It doesn't work like that. Okay.
You know, as a bass player, I'm still looking for an opportunity to play with Clyde once.
Oh yeah.
Just once.
I have to do it. I got to do it on this computer.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
trying to listen
Yeah.
to this.
What do you want to have played?
Oh, I don't know. Do you want to rip the whole thing? And then
I would play coming. I mean, if you want to play yourself, you're on Tour Down and you're on.
Coming Home is probably the good one, right?
Coming Home is the keyboard battle between Jimmy Vagley and Dave Adler.
Okay. Yeah, Coming Home.
It's pretty crazy. It's
I
pretty.
mean, anyway, you're only going to be playing like a few, like not the whole.
This is going to take a minute.
Yeah, no problem.
We don't have CD player.
Yeah.
What is
Okay.
What does McCann do?
What?
You're coming back.
Oh, I'm coming back in. Oh,
So,
okay.
So long, Michelle.
Bye. Thank you. Have fun. See you tomorrow.
Yep. We'll see you.
I
You stopping through?
Hmm?
You gonna stop through?
Where?
Friday?
Perhaps, yes.
Oh, it'd be great to see you, bro.
Most likely I'll be working though.
All right. We'll see you guys.
Hey there.
Hang on.
Hey there, you're back with Carolyn Schwartz, aka Soul Mama, and my good friend Todd Osbourne. That was Joey B. Banks, or as I call him, Joey B. He is the man. He is so much fun to play with. I always like to say playing with him is like playing with Clyde, but everything he does is harder and faster, right?
I would agree with that. You know, he and I first played together it wasn't like accidental, but it was inadvertent. I was on stage. There was somebody behind the kit behind me. Then all of a sudden he disappeared. Joey steps in. I turn around and go, "Hey,
Hey,
how you doing?
nice to meet
We're
you.
playing this song." Yep. Okay.
Okay.
Good. Go.
Yeah, he is the ultimate professional, and he's done so much for the Madison music community over the years. He does a lot of work with kids. He's got the Black Star Drumline. Just works with everybody, and he's fantastic. I met Joey actually like right when we moved here. God, how long ago now? 12 years ago? Yeah. It was December 04. My husband and I moved out here from New York. And shortly thereafter, met Joey at a Clyde show. And we've been friends ever since.
Now tell me, coming from another state and moving
Yes.
into Madison, did you have the same experience as I did moving here 7 years ago now? And just this big, wide, arms open music community to kind of...
It was very, very friendly. I mean, the story of how we moved here is kind of funny. So I guess I'll start there. My husband Tom and I, hi baby, hello. We were living in Brooklyn, New York, and I'm a born and raised New Yorker. That's where I'm from. You could probably hear it every now and then. It comes out, especially when I order pizza. I like mine with sausage, peppers, and onions. You know.
Of course you do.
Actually, meatball is a little bit better, but whatever.
Meatball?
Meatball, yeah, and not this like hamburger meat stuff. No, I want a meatball, sliced nice and thinly, and laid out like pepperoni. Anyway. Hungry. Apparently, I'm hungry. So I was getting bought out of my condo, which was a super cool condo in Brooklyn, by this big developer who ended up building the Barclay Center. I lived in this fabulous. It was a Spalding factory, and it was like 100-year-old building that had been converted into lofts with 13-foot ceilings and like just. Everything a little girl who watched Flashdance is a little like
Right.
That's what you imagine what you'll have when you live in the city. And we ended up getting bought out. We ended up moving here, and it was the most amazing thing. We went to go see Clyde because someone had told us, "Oh, you got to go."
Hey, you gotta
Actually, it was
see Clyde.
Anna Paula. She was like, "Oh, you got to go see Clyde. You're singing. You got to go see Clyde. He's gonna love you."
You even have her
And
facial expressions down too.
She's the best.
Yeah.
I love Anna Paula. Hey,
So do
AP,
I.
I love you. And so we went, and Tom had met Clyde when he lived here. Tom lived here for college and after college for a long time. And so we went to a Clyde show. And this is my favorite story to tell about Clyde. The very first moment I met him, the band was on break, and Tom pointed him out to me. He said, "That's Clyde." I'm like, "Okay." He went to go talk to some friends. And I sat down at the bar to order a drink. Clyde walked right up to me. Right up to me. He says, "What's a delicate flower like you doing sitting all alone?" And I was like, "Well, my fiance's right over there, and I can take care of myself." And he was like, "Well, he shouldn't leave you alone, and I'm sure you can." And I told him I was a singer, and he instantly, "Oh, well, you got to come up and sing." I didn't know this man. He didn't know me, and told me I had to come up and sing. So he called me up to sing that night, sang 3 songs, and after the show, he said, "You're in the band." He said, "When are you moving here?" I said,
Ever since.
"When are you moving here?" I was like, "Well, we're coming back in the fall," and this was in May. It was in May. We had like just made an offer on our house, and crazy story. And yeah, sure enough, when we actually moved here, I kept sitting in with the band, and then eventually he was like, "All right, you're in it. Like you're really in. You're really in." And it's been over a decade, and I am the singer for the Clyde Stubblefield All-Stars, and it's been like the most amazing experience to be in this group of people that we really don't rehearse. We just show up and
Those
play.
are the best groups too.
Which is awesome. We do have to rehearse this week because we do have some new stuff that Joey wants us to do. He's cracking the whip. That's okay. Somebody's got to keep us in line, right? Because Clyde doesn't rehearse. He won't be at rehearsal. The rest of us will be. But it's this amazing group of incredibly humble, for the most part. Everybody that's in the All-Stars, there's not a single attitude among any of them. If there were, they wouldn't be in the band. Like, that's just it. Clyde doesn't stand for that kind of stuff. Neither does Joey. Neither do any of us.
Nor should
Neither
he.
should know anybody. And nobody should.
No.
I don't care how good you are. And you know who you are. I'm speaking to a few people in particular. But you're probably not listening, so that's okay.
And that's their problem.
And that's their problem, right?
Well, that's the problem.
But the problem.
They're not listening.
They're not listening.
Yeah.
But if you're that great, you shouldn't have to be a jerk about it.
No.
Right? People who are great musicians are usually the super cool ones.
With every step that I've taken through my entire musical rebirth over the last 7 years too, I've tried to surround myself with people better than me at each step, and with each step I become even more humble the higher I go. Mm-hmm. And that's really how it should be.
I agree, absolutely. It's always the greats that are like, wow, they're really cool. And that shouldn't be surprising.
No.
Right? That shouldn't be surprising. Anyway. So Clyde, yeah. He's the man, and you should definitely come out on Friday if you get the chance.
Again, that's 9 o'clock this Friday night. The High Noon Saloon.
High Noon Saloon, $8.
In advance.
Tickets in advance. Proceeds go to the Clyde Stubblefield Fund, which Joey said is now attached to the Mamas, which is
It's fantastic.
awesome. Everybody needs their mama, right?
Yeah, everybody needs
That's
their
where my name come from. Actually, Clyde, when I started out as the singer, he's like, "You need a name." He like picked a name. He just started calling me Southern Wisconsin's Soul Mama. Yeah. First he started calling me the Queen of Soul. I'm like, no. That's Aretha Franklin. I'm not Aretha Franklin. I am my own person, and I would love to sing like her, but I don't. I do my own thing. I used to describe myself as the freaky lesbo love child of Janis Joplin and Aretha Franklin.
Oh, my.
Because I couldn't figure out how to describe my voice. Because I do.
I think that's pretty accurate too,
Don't
Carolyn.
you think so?
Yeah.
I do like the R&B. Someone once said Shaka Khan, and I was like, oh, yes. Yes! But I have a raspy, bluesy thing, like Janis.
The Janis.
And Bonnie Raitt. She's my shero. I love her so much. I've met her like twice, and I just want to squeeze her all the time. She's the best. Sorry. that got a little weird. I love you, Bonnie, if you're listening. I love you even if you're not. So I have this whole thing written here about who I am, and I should probably talk a little bit about that. But why? How am I doing? We doing okay with time? Okay. I just got a thumbs up from Mike. Yay, Mike. So, like I said, I'm a born and raised New Yorker, right? She's a native New Yorker. And I grew up in a Reform Jewish household. For those of you that don't know what that is, it means you don't keep kosher. It means you very rarely light the candles on Friday night. It means you love bacon cheeseburgers and shellfish and all those other things that your conservative friends didn't get to eat. I didn't celebrate Christmas. My grandparents did, and we used to get Easter baskets from them. But they were really, really Reform Jews. My father's parents, so my father's mother's maiden name was Haldenstein growing up. And after she died, we found a box of her letters and stuff that she got from her father when she was in college at Mount Holyoke in the 30s, I guess. And in it, there was a letter from her father, Alfred A. Haldenstein, that said, by the way, from now on, our last name is Halden, because Haldenstein is just too complicated to spell for some people.
Well, it is for some people.
For some people who don't like Jews, it was very complicated to spell. Yeah, complicated. So, yeah, and that was it. That was the explanation. So from then on, she was Barbara Halden. And then she married Ellis Schwartz. So that kind of negated all the, are you a Jew or not? Because in New York, if your last name is Schwartz, you're Jewish. And when my husband and I moved out here, oddly enough, we both have the last name Schwartz.
I was going to ask about that,
my
too.
My maiden name is Schwartz, and my married name is, well, I didn't change my name, but my husband's name is Schwartz, I should say. So
if you were to hyphenate, it would be
Schwartz, as in, who wears Schwartz? Carolyn Schwartz. Yeah, that would be me. And let's see, Don, I got to check that. So when we moved out here, people thought, Jewish? You're not just German? That's so weird. But so Nanny, my father's mother, she grew up in a very, very non-religious household. And my mother, I didn't know this till a few years ago, was an atheist. But her parents were definitely more than Reform. Her father was the vice president of the Jewish Welfare Board. Like, he was big in social work and all that stuff. Her brother ended up moving to Israel and becoming an Orthodox Jew. So I have that end of the family as well. In Israel, I have a whole swath of Gershowitzes and other very Jewish-sounding last name family living in Israel. And yet my mother and I think my sister probably too, are all atheist Jews. Mm-hmm. I keep the word Jew on there because it's part of who I am as a person and growing up. You can't take that part away from me. It's, yes, I'm white, and so I can pass easily as a non-Jew, but, it's, some people believe it's a race thing, according to Jewish law, the bloodline is passed down through the mother. So if your mother is Jewish, you're Jewish. Well, that's blood. That's not just religion that you choose. So it's a weird dichotomy, being an atheist and yet still feeling this need to be identified as a Jew.
Well, I consider myself an agnostic, and yet I'm still a Lutheran at heart.
Well,
which is basically the Lutheran credo, as far as I can recall, is be nice to people.
Well, yeah.
Don't be a jerk.
Don't be a jerk. Hey, don't be a
a hot dish.
And bring a hot dish. I like that. That's like the Jewish explanation of most holidays. Yeah. And they tried to kill us. We kicked their asses. Let's eat. Right? It's the same kind of thing, right? Be nice. Stand up for yourself, but be nice. But there's a part of me, like, I can't ignore when I see swastikas. Like when I see that in Monona, like not long after the election, someone painted a swastika in a park. I can't ignore that part. Mm-hmm. I can't ignore that part of who I am.
Well, that's pure bigotry, that's why.
It's pure bigotry also, but it's like, I don't know, it's hard to explain. Being culturally Jewish versus religious, there's a way to separate it. And I think a lot of American Jews feel the same way. A lot of people of my generation, I know a lot of people that I grew up with, feel the same way. We were all raised in very Reform households, and yet, we are free-thinking individuals as well, and have this problem with dogma. I don't know. We'll talk a little bit more about that in the next segment.
All right.
Stick around. That was not where I wanted to go. I was planning on going.
That's okay.
Interesting.
No, that's for me. That was fascinating too.
Thank you. I like that, the Lutheran Credo. That's good. That's good. How's it going in there?
We have an old board.
Oh.
That's what that's all about.
Because that's what we can afford.
Hey, there's people watching. Hi. Hi, Cliff. Hi, Sean. There's people watching. Oh, my God. I wonder if there's actually people listening. How can I tell?
On the live stream,
Oh, if I go to, yeah.
yeah, you have to go in there, it'll tell you.
Okay. I'm going to check that out.
Where do you want to go next?
Well, let's see. I don't know, maybe talk about education. I want to talk about that.
Okay.
About how, well, I was going to continue talking about, like, me, but maybe I don't have to do that. I should see if anybody wants to call
Come back in
in.
30.
Okay.
30 seconds.
See if anybody wants to call in.
Oh, what's the phone number? Here's your host. Here's your host.
Nice. Thank you very much. Thank you. You know, for a long time, I was petrified of singing any Janis Joplin songs because when I first started out as a blues singer, people always, they heard my raspy voice and they thought, oh my God, you sound just like Janis Joplin.
Are you in a Janis Joplin tribute?
And I just never connected. I was like, I don't think I sound like Janis, but I get it. I'm a white girl singing the blues and you can't quite process that. So, okay.
Janis.
Awesome. And, you know, then ironically, I heard Irma Franklin's version of Peace in My Heart, that song that you were just playing. Irma Franklin was one of Aretha's sisters. Aretha has a few sisters. Carolyn was one of her sisters. And Irma, they were her backup singers, and Irma had her own career, and she did this really cool version of Peace in My Heart that I connected with because it wasn't that iconic like thing where I was afraid if I didn't sound just like Janis, I wouldn't, you know, people wouldn't like it. And so I finally like started doing that song, and I realized it's a 1-4-5 except for the bridge. And then I started doing this whole like, hey, every song is a 1-4-5. Let's go through a medley. And in the early days with Clyde, when I was doing Funky Mondays every week, we would go through this whole thing where I would do Peace of My Heart, The Joker, Angel of the Morning, Louie Louie, Wild Thing, Hang on Sloopy, like a whole bunch, and then come back to Peace of My Heart and be like, I'm going to educate everybody. This is a musical 101 lesson in how to sing the blues or how to like write a pop song. You need 3 chords and that's it.
And for those who don't know, a 1-4-5 structure is basically the root, then the 4th of a scale, then the 5th. Then the 5th, yeah.
Just call me Angel. I mean, it's every single song, and then now lately it's a 4-chord change, like where it's like a real emo thing. There's like a 1-6-2-5. Anyway, I could go on forever about that, but yeah. So thank you for the nice little Janis Joplin there. I, among many other things, am a coloring book artist. This is a new thing for me. I always identified myself as the singer in the band and or singer in the family. My sister Lisa is the graphic artist, the visual artist, the creative artist in the family, the like physical artist. And I never thought of myself that way. You like put yourself in a box, you know, and for your whole life you play this role in the family. And I just turned 46 and decided last year, you know what? I'm going to draw. and I just started to doodle. I don't draw lifelike, realistic things. I'm not very good at that. I know that about myself, but I can doodle like anybody's business. And so I started doodling dirty words, and which I won't say because I don't want to get in trouble. Even though this is like, can I say stuff?
The FCC has no
Right?
control.
Oh, okay.
But,
So I started doodling stuff. Actually, was inspired by my friend Suzanne Wong, who's a hilarious comedian based out of LA. Things like cockwaffle and douche fuck and things that like are fun to say, and you get
I've
a
been
lot of
snickering at
energy.
your Facebook page for the last 6
I
months,
know.
by the way.
So even my mom loves them. She's got a dirty mouth once you finally get down to it. But it's it was really therapeutic and great, and people started saying, "Wow, you should make a coloring book of that." So I did, and then another one, because there's no shortage of insults, and I call them interesting insults and creative curses for adults to color, and they're available on my Etsy shop and at createspace.com. Anyway, I've started doing craft shows and selling coloring books and stuff, and I also do tote bags. Actually, wait a minute. This is a tote bag of one of my images.
We're streaming live on Facebook.
We're streaming live on Facebook. So this is chocolate is my happy place. I do positive things and negative things.
The negative ones are so much more
The
fun.
negative
though.
ones are so much more fun. But if you want to color sitting next to your kid, you might want to have something, especially if they're at the age where they can read, something that's decent.
Right.
So I did this. Many of you know where my politics stand, but in case you didn't, I did a book called Pantsuit Nation, and it's backwards right here. But I did drawings that were leading up to the election, and the week leading up to the election
Of Hillary Clinton.
Of Hillary Clinton, yes. After I got invited into the Pantsuit Nation Facebook group, I just started drawing. I use a hashtag drawing helps me cope. Because if I weren't drawing, I'd be doing something else, and that might not
Probably
be
much
so
more self-destructive.
Exactly. So I figure I draw, I get therapy out of it. People color, they get therapy out of it. It's all good. I make a little money in the process. It's the American dream. So I was at this show in Waukesha, and for those of you who don't know, Waukesha is a very conservative county and city in with southern Wisconsin, just outside of Milwaukee. So there was this Waukesha Expo Market. It was all weekend long, and I was vending my stuff. I was okay. It was not everybody did that great, but whatever. One of the other vendors was another woman who's at least my age. Like I said, I'm 46. And she was looking at my book, and it was clear to me from conversations that she was not a Hillary supporter, and that's okay. I was being civil and wonderful and trying to educate as I do. And so one of my drawings says, "Hey, Susan, we did it." And it looks like a letter. P.S. Sorry it took so long. And it refers to Susan B. Anthony.
Yeah.
Well, she looked at that, and she's like, "What? Who's Susan B.
She wasn't getting who Susan
Who's
B.
Susan
Anthony
B.
was.
Anthony?" Like, I understand maybe needing an explanation of, "Hey, Susan, we did it." Like, what does that mean? She did not know who Susan B. Anthony was. I said, "Wait, you mean like the coin?" She's like, "No."
Remember the coins, don't you?
No, not a clue. So then we get to the one of the books, one of my images that says, "Oh, I'm sorry, did some glass fall on your head?"
Mm-hmm.
And it's a reference to the shattering of the glass ceiling.
Sure, glass ceiling.
Not a clue.
Are you serious? She did not.
Not a clue.
But-
Didn't understand what the glass ceiling was or why shattering it was a good thing. Like, this is a
Phrase has been
woman.
around for decades.
This is a woman who is at least my age. So I'm saying 50, maybe older, and seemed like a smart, intellectual person. She had a small business owner and actually, selling stuff. Nope, not a clue. And this is, for me, this says it all. Education is key. All right, I'm seeing for Mike, we have a caller. Who is on the line? We have Dave on the line. Hey, Dave.
What's up, Dave?
I'm good. Oh, it's my good friend Dave Rudbarg. So here, wait a minute. I think did I bring my other books with me? I did. Dave Rudbarg is a life coach in New York City and a great singer. And he and I collaborated on this book called I'm Allowed to Be Human. And it's backwards right now on Facebook, but you're just going to have to hold it up to a mirror. I don't care. But yeah, so he wrote the words and I did the doodles. How's it going, Dave? Yes, you do. Absolutely. I can
Yeah.
hear you perfectly. Okay. Aw, you are so sweet. Always sass. Thank you. Dave, you're the best. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that coming from you. You are someone that has done so much work on themselves and for others to help them be better versions of themselves. That's really what I get from you, is that we should all just do our best to be the best version of ourselves and not worry about what other people think. And so I'm doing what I do because if I didn't, I would go a little crazy.
Thanks. Well,
Thank you.
Carolyn is actually quite inspiring.
Aw,
and it has been.
Shucks, you guys are making me blush. Thanks,
All right.
Dave.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you. That's Dave Rudbard, Coach Me Dave. He is a New York City life coach. He and I met back in New York City when we were both aspiring blues singers. And he has got one hell of a powerhouse voice. Interesting story about Dave. He used to be a much larger man than he is and went through a long and amazing weight loss process. And I know as a singer, I'm always concerned that if my body weight changes, what it would do to my voice, because your body is your instrument. Mm-hmm. And I tell you, it has not changed a thing for him, and it's so fantastic. He's just been doing so much for himself and for others through his coaching and his Facebook affirmations. And you can find his collaboration with me, I'm Allowed to Be Human, at my Etsy page, etsy.com/shop/SoulMama's Stuff.
SoulMama's
Stuff. No asterisk, just a couple of F's, a couple of S's. All right, we will be back in a few. Thank you. Well, that was good. That was good. Dave, I love you, Dave. Mwah, mwah, mwah. All right, oh my goodness, we're almost done.
See how fast it goes?
Holy moly. Holy moly, I haven't even gotten it. So I want to go back to the education thing. I definitely want to, about the bigotry rooted in fear and all that stuff.
Why don't I pick it up from where he left off, basically, and I'll just talk about it. Because being a great mom, teaching your kids this, teaching your kids that.
Kindness. Yes, teaching kindness. Teaching.
Very well.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm very excited.
Wow, the engineer is tickled.
I know. Can you tell how many people are watching? I'm not. I didn't want to pull it up on there.
I will say this was a little self-serving for me too, because it's been a long time since I've had headphones on my live microphone. Thanks for taking me along on your coattails, Mama.
You're welcome. Thank you.
By the way, I want to play with you on stage again.
Okay. Sharon Jones. Before that, but we got to do a Sharon Jones thing. Absolutely. Oh, I still haven't heard back from her about that.
Well, worry about it.
Where
15.
did my phone go? Where is my phone? Oh, there it is. There's my phone.
Back in Saturday?
Okay.
Oh. Yes.
We're having a good time.
Back in town?
And thank you for coming back, joining us at SoulMama Says. I'm Carolyn Schwartz, or Carolyn Schwartz Black, or Carolyn Black, depending on how you know me. I'm Carolyn, like Marilyn, but Carolyn with a double N. And right here with me, of course, is Mr. Todd Osbourne.
And, just to touch on something that Dave was talking about just a couple of minutes ago, too, about the mothering that you do and the examples that you're setting for your kids with everything that you do, the new creative endeavors that you're doing. This podcast, which when I first learned that you were looking to do this, I went, I can help you out with that.
Yeah, you called, you're like, hey, do you want to co-host? Yes, yes, I do.
But, these are all teachable, really great teachable moments for your younglings.
My littles.
Your littles who are at home listening, right?
Yes, they are, Zeke and Arlo.
And, having spent some time around them too myself, they seem like they're pretty smart kids.
They are. They're really goofy too. Just like, they come by it very honestly. My goal, here, I sold, I was part owner of Happy Bambino, and we sold our business last year.
This is in Monona, Wisconsin.
In Madison, yeah. It's technically Madison on Monona Drive. The business is still there. And people kept asking me, what are you going to do next? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? As if my life was over. As if, I wasn't going to be that business owner anymore, so boom, I'm done. And, there's so much more. I feel like since I've hit my 40s, I feel like there's nothing I can't do. Like, I just want to keep trying new things, and you never know unless you try. Right? You never know unless you ask.
I think there's a lot of us in our particular age group, in the 40s, around 50-ish or so, that are going through a new transformation, a lot of transformations. We had like the first part of our life. Now we have the second part of our life. It wasn't always true for previous generations, that kind of thing. You'd have like one long life.
You did your one thing,
You did your one thing for the rest of your life. Myself, I'm getting back into school myself, which has been a huge challenge, having not been to college since 1991. But when I look around and see all the people that I spend time with at school, I can't put this in at school, these kids are really into getting educated. Man.
Yeah. Well, education is like the most important thing, and that's what I was talking about in the last segment about the woman in Waukesha who didn't know who Susan B. Anthony was, who didn't know what the glass ceiling was, she really just didn't understand, and I started to feel bad for her and not angry that she voted for Trump. It's like, well, there's a saying Oprah Winfrey used to say, when you don't know any better, you can't do any better. Now that you know better, do better. And it's this thing, like, ignorance, if you don't know something, how can you be expected to do differently than you are currently doing? If your parents have taught you this one thing the whole time growing up, I mean, it's the children of white supremacists, oh my gosh, they don't know any other thing. So they are raised in this hateful situation, and that's all they know. And it's what they absolutely know, because it's what they've been told their whole lives.
This is my true fact.
Exactly. True fact.
True fact.
But if we're not all agreeing on, the books to read, if we're not all reading the same books, we're not all reading the same papers, everyone is just so partisan. And education is the key to that. If you're given the facts and then allowed to make a decision based on, then say, okay, well, my opinion of it is this, that's one thing. But if you're not all starting with the same facts and information, how can you? How can you go on from there?
This is where it gets dangerous with ideas like, we'll take the state of Texas, for instance, and the textbooks that certain legislators have been trying to.
Let me tell you, it makes this
and have succeeded in some cases.
I have thought about homeschooling, I don't know how many times, until I remember, oh wait, no, I don't have the patience for it. But and my kids need socialization. But that's it. Yeah, the fact that this one place really gets to decide what goes in the textbooks, and they're whitewashing literally everything. There was an article I don't remember where it was, about them calling slaves immigrant workers.
Yeah, immigrant workers.
Something like that.
Really? Well, technically you might be correct, but
except for the indentured servitude part.
Except for that part.
And the thing is, when you put that in a textbook,
we let them share the crops. So sharecropping.
Yeah.
Oh, so they what?
You put that in a textbook, and that's gospel, right? Yeah. Why? How is a child supposed to think any differently, right? We're told to trust our teachers, to believe our teachers, to trust the policemen, to trust our preachers, if you're a God-fearing person. But how are we supposed to do that when the information they're giving us is faulty? And then how do you blame those kids? There was a great video I saw on Facebook. I can't remember what his name was. Simon something about millennials and how they're just totally fucked up. But it's not their own fault. It's because their parents told them they were precious and that they could never fail. And so if you're told that, which is the same thing as giving facts, you're getting all these factual information. I'm the best. You deserve a participation award for everything. How are you supposed to believe anything differently?
Exactly.
And why should you? If that's what your parents are telling you. Like, I would hope that my parents told me the truth. That's kind of the deal, right?
Oh, I have a lot of conservative friends that pull out some of those, like, oh, everybody gets a trophy, that's the liberal way. It's like, well, that's not entirely true. And honestly, I agree with you. That's not a good thing.
No, it's not, because everyone's not equal. And you touched on, that's the liberal way. Yeah. People using the word liberal as a bad word.
Yeah.
Right? I am so proud to be a liberal. I'm proud to be an overly educated New York liberal. I really am. I don't see anything wrong with that. And when people try to tell me, you're not a real American, right? Because you're a New York liberal, whatever, or a Californian, right?
Yeah.
If you took out California,
New York and California.
If you took out New York and California, Trump would have won the popular vote. Well, we can't take out California and New York, because if we did that, then the economy of the United States would probably collapse, right? If you don't have those two major economies, and you don't have all that education and industry and finance, all that stuff happens in New York and California. I mean,
yeah, I'm sorry, getting an education doesn't mean elitist in the bad sense. It means we're trying to be elite. We're trying to be
elite,
greater,
right? When you look up the word elite, what does it mean?
Yeah.
Best. Top. Cream of the crop. What's wrong with that?
And
what's wrong with someone, please? I need to know what is wrong with being smart, because it seems like maybe it was with George Bush Jr., right? That was the guy you wanted to drink a beer with.
Yeah.
I don't want to drink a beer with my
maybe
president.
Maybe shooting too.
Maybe a nice glass of Merlot, but I don't want to have a beer with my president. I didn't want to have one with Bill Clinton. I don't care. I want to know what they have to say. I care that Obama went to Harvard or Yale or wherever. It's important to me. That's good. That's not a bad thing.
Here's one thing I noticed about the University of Wisconsin system just over the last week. These are personal observations. I've been driving Uber now for several months.
Yes.
Over the last week, the buses have been coming in, bringing some new students,
right?
New students, many of them from other countries. I've had some young girls from China, a young gentleman from South Africa, another group from, where was it? Some other
foreign country.
India. Sorry.
India.
Yeah, it's a pretty big one. India. Yeah.
Nah, it's a pretty big one. Lots of people.
And I asked them all, I said, why are you coming to the University of Wisconsin? Because it has such a great reputation of giving you a great education.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, why do we have certain legislators in this state
certain ones, who
that are hell-bent on taking parts of that away from these people that are obviously coming here for that very reason?
Yeah.
Right?
They're coming here for that, and I experienced this when I was in grad school as well at Syracuse. Lots of students from Asian countries actually would come to get their education and then take their skills back with them. And we need highly educated people in this country.
Apparently.
We do. We need children to be educated. We need adults to be educated. We need people to understand their constitutional rights, their voting rights. Wouldn't that be a novel idea? An uneducated populace is dangerous, that it's so important to understand the law, what you're voting for, what your rights are, and when we don't, they get trampled on. And, as an atheist Jew, it's like really scary to see rights get trampled on and people just go, oh, okay, no big deal. It's like this happened a long time ago already.
But there's the thing.
There's
is history.
History. If we don't know our history, we're going to do it all over again. My mama always told me you learn something new every day, you know? And if you don't, then you are not doing your job as a citizen of the world, right?
Yeah.
You need to learn, you need to educate yourself, open yourself up to new information. And until we do that, this partisan, like this divide, it won't go away. People aren't willing to learn. Like that woman in Waukesha that I was I was doing my best to just be kind and try to educate her, because that's how you get rid of fear and bigotry. Fear and bigotry is rooted in, it's the fear of the unknown. When you don't know what something is, it's really easy to be afraid of it and condemn it.
And this was a big portion of our outgoing president's speech the other day, too,
Yeah.
which was to listen
To
each
listen.
other. And that goes for all of us.
That goes for everybody. Everybody has to listen, but then also sit back, like say something that's not inflammatory. Try to do your best to be friendly and kind to one another. I got Zeke a shirt that said "Kind is cool,"
Nice.
and he wears it proudly. And that is my job as a mother, to teach my children kindness, to teach you all something out there. This is SoulMama. I really hope you learned something today. And I hope you will tune in next week when we get sponsors.
Hey, I'll get to work on that in about a half an hour. This
I
podcast will be
know.
posted here shortly.
That's
today.
right. You can check into it at MadisonTalkers.com soon.
There's a link for Carolyn Schwartz right there already.
That's right. There is.
Yes. Yeah,
So
you're on it.
cool. Oh my God, that's awesome. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. And we will see you next time. Be good to each other. Oh my God, we did it!
You don't need me.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. No, that was really great. You're like, education! We're going to swing this back around.
Just steering you back.
That was good. That was really, really good.
You drive,
Yay.
I'll navigate.
I didn't even get to the
That's
artist
okay.
to the artist thing about being like having artists speak their mind. I got to do that next time.
The only thing I can tell you is if there's a synopsis, if you want to type something up on Facebook, website with this podcast.
Oh,
So a summary of what the show is about.
okay. I'll have to listen to it in order to.
You can email me or Facebook Messenger. is fine.
Okay.
Other than that, if you have anything like the music or anything you want me to play, that's kind of it.
Beforehand, yeah.
Joe Banks. Then it was...
Otherwise, the only thing as far as like production show wise goes, just try and dump with dump to the breaks with Madison Talkers.
Right.
That sort of stuff. Then, but you'll get that as you go. You'll get that as you go. Because this one's smooth.
Great. Thank you. Oh, you're writing a.
Let's see. First of all, Joey
Bullet
Banks.
points.
Second segment was...
We're still talking about Clyde, but then I don't remember
is this-
Jewish.
okay,
Yeah,
so
being
no,
Jewish.
That was 3. This was 4. This is 1. Number 2 was your move to Madison.
Right. Clyde moved to Madison.
Clyde.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, thanks.
Let's just get out of this
I'm
guy's
so
way.
thanks he gave me this. Yay! I'm working on this for a year and a half.
What's that?
almost. The
Oh.
the CD.
Right.
I'll
Yeah.
have that up by 2:30.
Okay, awesome. Oh, I should probably stop the Facebook Live video. Ha ha! Thank you. Mwah, mwah, mwah.